In the increasingly tense waters of the Middle East, competing narratives and strategic messaging have once again placed global attention on the fragile balance between the United States, Iran, and Israel. Recent reports from Iranian state media claim that a drone operated by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps struck a United States aircraft carrier operating in regional waters. According to those reports, the target was the USS Abraham Lincoln, one of the U.S. Navy's most powerful naval assets. The alleged incident reportedly occurred on March 6 in waters connected to the Gulf region. Iranian outlets described the strike as a demonstration of defensive capability after the carrier group approached an area that Tehran considers strategically sensitive. However, officials in Washington quickly rejected the claim, insisting that no Iranian projectile came close to the American vessel. The conflicting accounts illustrate the broader information battle surrounding the current standoff, where military signaling, media narratives, and geopolitical interests intersect in one of the world's most strategically vital maritime corridors. Iranian media outlets, including the Tehran-based newspaper Tehran Times, stated that a naval drone belonging to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps struck the American carrier after it reportedly moved within approximately 340 kilometers of Iran's territorial waters in the Gulf of Oman. The reports suggested that the carrier group was operating near maritime routes linked to the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow waterway through which a significant portion of the world's oil supply passes each day. In the Iranian account, the drone strike was described as a calculated warning rather than a full-scale attack, signaling Tehran's readiness to defend what it views as its strategic sphere of influence. Iranian sources further claim that following the incident, the carrier group and its escort vessels withdrew more than 1,000 kilometers from the area. These reports quickly spread across regional media, reinforcing a narrative within Iran that the country's defensive capabilities can deter even the most advanced naval forces. The United States government, however, strongly disputed this version of events. Officials at the Pentagon stated that no Iranian drone or missile successfully approached the carrier group and that American naval forces remained fully operational in the region. U.S. defense officials described the Iranian claims as inaccurate and possibly intended for domestic or regional messaging rather than reflecting a confirmed military engagement. According to American military assessments, the USS Abraham Lincoln continued operating with its strike group while maintaining defensive readiness against potential threats in the broader Gulf region. Such contradictory accounts are not uncommon in modern geopolitical confrontations, where both sides often seek to control the narrative to reinforce deterrence, reassure allies, and shape international perception. Beyond the disputed drone incident, the broader regional environment has been characterized by rising military activity involving multiple actors. The United States has increased naval and air operations in parts of the Middle East as tensions with Iran remain elevated. These operations often include surveillance flights, maritime patrols, and joint exercises with regional partners. American officials argue that these deployments are necessary to maintain freedom of navigation and protect international shipping routes. From Washington's perspective, the strategic objective is to prevent disruptions to global energy supply chains and ensure stability in waterways that are essential to international trade. Iran, meanwhile, views such deployments as a direct security challenge, particularly when U.S. forces operate near areas Tehran considers within its defensive perimeter. Iranian leaders have also adopted a more assertive tone in recent statements. Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, recently declared that Iran is prepared for a range of possible scenarios, including the unlikely but frequently discussed possibility of a ground invasion by the United States or its regional allies. While such statements may partly serve domestic political purposes, they also reflect the broader strategic doctrine of deterrence that has guided Iran's military planning for decades. Tehran has invested heavily in asymmetric capabilities such as drones, ballistic missiles, and naval swarm tactics designed to offset the conventional superiority of Western military forces. In the narrow waterways of the Gulf region, these capabilities are often presented as tools that could complicate the operations of larger naval fleets. At the same time, American military officials claim they have already taken steps to counter Iranian naval activities. According to statements from the United States Central Command, U.S. forces have conducted a series of operations targeting Iranian maritime assets since late February. American officials reported that more than 30 Iranian vessels were destroyed or disabled during engagements connected to these operations. These incidents reportedly involved smaller boats and maritime platforms believed to be linked to Iran's naval forces or affiliated networks. U.S. commanders argue that such actions are aimed at preventing potential attacks on commercial shipping and allied military vessels operating in the region. Among the developments highlighted by American officials was a recent strike against what they described as an Iranian drone carrier. According to Brad Cooper, the commander associated with these operations, U.S. forces targeted the vessel after identifying it as a platform used to launch unmanned aerial vehicles in the region. Cooper stated that the ship was heavily damaged and left burning after the strike. American officials also claim that Iranian ballistic missile launches have declined significantly in recent weeks, suggesting that ongoing operations may have reduced the immediate level of threat posed by Iranian forces in the area. However, independent verification of these claims remains limited, and analysts caution that the strategic situation remains fluid. The broader geopolitical context surrounding these incidents is shaped not only by tensions between Washington and Tehran but also by the involvement of Israel and other regional actors. Israel has long viewed Iran's expanding missile and drone capabilities as a major security concern, particularly given Tehran's support for allied groups across the Middle East. Although Israel was not directly mentioned in the recent drone claim involving the aircraft carrier, the wider regional dynamics cannot be separated from the long-running rivalry between the two countries. The United States maintains close security cooperation with Israel, and American military deployments in the region often serve multiple strategic purposes, including reassurance of allies and deterrence against potential escalation. For analysts, the conflicting reports surrounding the alleged drone strike illustrate a broader phenomenon in modern warfare: the growing role of unmanned systems and information narratives in shaping strategic perception. Drones have become central to the military doctrines of many countries, especially those seeking cost-effective ways to challenge more technologically advanced adversaries. Iran has invested heavily in drone development over the past decade, producing a range of systems capable of reconnaissance, surveillance, and attack missions. The United States, meanwhile, has built layered defense systems designed to detect and intercept such threats before they reach high-value targets like aircraft carriers. Despite the sharp rhetoric and competing narratives, many observers note that both Washington and Tehran appear cautious about triggering a direct large-scale confrontation. Aircraft carriers such as the USS Abraham Lincoln represent powerful symbols of American military presence, but they also serve as instruments of deterrence rather than tools intended for immediate conflict. Similarly, Iranian announcements about drone strikes or defensive capabilities often function as strategic signaling aimed at discouraging foreign military pressure. In this environment, both sides appear to be carefully balancing demonstrations of strength with efforts to avoid a situation that could spiral into a broader regional war. The Middle East has long been a region where naval movements, missile launches, and military exercises carry deep political meaning beyond their immediate tactical purpose. Each maneuver can send signals to allies, rivals, and global markets simultaneously. With international energy supplies and major shipping lanes passing through nearby waters, any perception of instability quickly draws worldwide attention. For that reason, even unconfirmed or disputed incidents, such as the reported drone strike, can influence diplomatic discussions, military planning, and public perception across multiple continents. As the situation continues to evolve, the international community will likely focus on monitoring developments in key maritime corridors and assessing the credibility of competing claims from both sides. While Iranian media portray the incident as a demonstration of deterrence, American officials maintain that their forces remain secure and operational. The truth may ultimately lie somewhere between the two narratives, shaped by both military realities and strategic messaging. What remains clear is that the rivalry between the United States and Iran continues to play out not only through military deployments but also through the narratives that accompany them. For viewers around the world, understanding these events requires looking beyond immediate headlines and considering the broader strategic landscape. Incidents involving drones, naval patrols, or missile defenses are rarely isolated events. Instead, they form part of a complex web of deterrence, signaling, and geopolitical competition. As long as tensions between Washington and Tehran remain unresolved, episodes like this one will likely continue to emerge, reflecting the fragile balance of power in one of the most strategically important regions on Earth.